Turn the page. For seeds, just like you, they sprout too.
Fall, Matt, and Sam. It's the plums. Okay.
You finished your first story that was in a book like this. Did you finish the book?
Yeah.
Munchkin, I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
Oh my God. Yeah.
So we wanted to approach the subject of reading in such a way that our son Jack would not only view reading as a fun thing to do, but also as a very natural part of life. Just like many of you, I learned how to read in school. We were a part of a curriculum and we were on a schedule. I think that overarching essence of a schedule really hindered my perspective on the subject of reading because I always felt as though it was an assignment. I never viewed it as a form of entertainment, and therefore I rarely ever did it willingly for fun. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and while you're at it, you might as well subscribe because I'm gonna be posting a lot more videos that go into even more detail. All right, let's jump in. I think in order to make reading fun, we must first make it a natural part of life. And in my opinion, I think early exposure is critical to creating that sense of normalcy. I believe all of this goes hand in hand. So today, I'm gonna first do a quick dive into the age we began this process. Then we'll move into how we went about making this feel like a natural part of life. And then we'll dig into the specifics of how we made this fun. To preface this topic, I wanna share a perspective that I initially gained while earning my anthropology degree. Be cautious to assume someone's limitations.
Jack.
I say that because I think a lot of us inadvertently set unnecessary limitations for our kids before they're even born, based off of our own experiences and cultural norms. For instance, we have age expectations for learning how to read, write, do math, play certain games, ride a bike, be potty trained. I'd like to think that our culture offers mostly beneficial recommendations because they are largely based on generations of trial and error. That being said, I think there are some instances in which children can be held back by parents who strictly adhere to the guidelines of any one culture. In the instance of reading, we're told in the US that our 2 or 3-year-old child may be able to sing the alphabet, but won't likely identify any letters, and to expect reading simple words like their name to happen around the age of 6. I often see children far exceed these expectations, and when given the opportunity, are far more capable than these guidelines suggest. All that to say that I think parents should consider exposing their children as early as infancy. How we exposed Jack to letters and words varied based on his age.
Hey Jack, would you please bring Mama a book? Oh, thank you so much. Which one do you want to read first? Can you say cake? Cake.
Cake.
Yeah, cake.
But from the very beginning, the most important thing we ever did was that we tried to create an environment in which he never felt pressured or forced to read. And trust me, I know that can be kind of a struggle for some parents. I know it was for me in the beginning until I realized just how counterproductive it was, because my son is the type of kid that if he feels pressured to do something, he does not want any part of it whatsoever.
That's right, Mr. Munchkin! You did that! You put it all together!
It has to be his choice, or it's no longer entertaining, it's no longer enjoyment, and there is that association with it being an assignment. There are a lot of videos that I look forward to making that cover exactly what we did. Right now, I'll talk to you about a few things we did at home and in public. At home, there were a number of ways we were able to inspire curiosity in reading. For one thing, when he was a baby and a toddler, I found book placement to be a pretty useful tool. We put books in toy bins, in baskets, as decor on tables, wide open in the corners. I really tried to put them anywhere where it would inspire curiosity for him to flip through the pages. Another thing we had were those wall stickers for numbers and letters, and we also had a playmat on the floor with alphabet letters and numbers as well. This way, these symbols would kind of be regularly seen. Another thing that we did at home was obviously read. So I would read to him before naps, before bed, and my husband would also do that as well. Also, whenever I would want to write a list, I would purposefully get out my pen and paper and have him watch me make a list instead of typing it on my phone, because I wanted him to see that we create symbols, that these symbols mean something. Beautiful! Yeah, beautiful. The most fun thing we did, and something that we still do today, are lunchtime games. That's gonna be in the How We Made It Fun section, so I'll get back to that. Two great environments to teach reading in a public setting are on walks and at the grocery store. As far as exposure in public, when he was really little, while we would walk, I would purposely point out numbers on mailboxes, on license plates, words on license plates. Street signs are huge because it really gave him the impression that reading wasn't just something we did at home. Reading was a useful tool that we needed in daily life. Reading helped me get home. Also, grocery stores are a fantastic place for teaching. Where are we?
Grocery store.
Grocery store, what are you doing?
I'm pushing cars.
Are you pushing the cart for me?
Yeah.
Did you put all of this stuff in the cart? Wow. Because you can read everything that you need, you can look at the prices, you can weigh things and do basic multiplication for figuring out how much your bag of apples is gonna cost. As he got older, this turned into something that I call the part-time job. I'm gonna be doing a separate video on this, but essentially, he would get a list, he'd have to read it, and then he would have to check it off as I would grab things. Now that he's older, he writes the grocery list, he takes it to the store with me, he helps grab everything and put it in the cart and check it off as we go, and then he helps to ring it up later. A package of zucchini, please. Thank you, Spider-Man. Another little tip is, as he would get older, I would start to write a little bit more sloppily in a way that I would normally write. This way, he doesn't just get to learn the perfect letters that are typed in books. He gets to understand letters that people write by hand, and most people do not have perfect handwriting. With reading already being a natural part of his life, he often looked upon books for entertainment. He always brings a book when we leave the house. He loves to read upstairs while his father's working or while he's eating lunch at his grandmother's house. For him, fun is already built into books, as it typically is for movies and TV shows. On top of that, we did what I mentioned earlier, lunchtime lessons. But instead of saying, okay, let's sit down and do lesson time, I would ask, do you want to play a game? I think that's really powerful, framing it as a game, because we all know games are fun. And the reason we did that at lunchtime was because he was already sitting and staying still. There was no force involved with asking him to sit as you would typically see in a classroom. So as he would eat, I would teach, or as he saw it, we would play games. You're doing a pineapple in your mouth. Good job, Mishka.
2, 4, 6, 8, 10.
What is 8 divided by 4?
My turn.
adjective again.
Adjective?
The games would shift as he would developmentally progress, and I will be doing videos demonstrating exactly what we did. Right now, I'll mention some key aspects. The most important thing was not so much the medium we used, it was the attitude we had. No matter what we did, we acted as though whatever we were doing was incredibly exciting and super fun. Our children love seeing us be happy and proud, and they mirror that emotion. If we're having fun, they're having fun. I noticed very quickly that doing the same thing every day can cause them to be bored, and then they lose interest in the subject altogether. It was enjoyable by switching it up, teaching the same concept in as many different ways as I possibly could. For us, we used magnetic letters, wood letters, books with letters, dry erase markers. We had a bunch of ways to teach. The game style came naturally, as it will for you. You will see how you can use these tools to make your child laugh along the way.
Oh my goodness!
And you will get into a groove and make your own games. A couple of things Jack loved the most were Simon Says and art games. Whatever he would help me spell, I would do. If he helped me spell the word jump, I would jump. This encouraged him to want to spell bigger sentences, like jump on one foot while balancing a ball on your head. The focus was not at all on learning how to spell. It was on the ridiculous thing he was gonna have me do. And we would take turns with this. It was really fun, actually. As he got older, it went from me spelling it to him helping me spell to him spelling it all on his own. The thing he absolutely loved the most, and probably is the reason why he is involved in art so much today, were art games, which essentially were art classes with spelling along the way. Similar to Simon Says, but whatever he would spell, I would draw. I would get pretty elaborate and make the whole process of creating the artwork enjoyable for him to watch, and the outcome was the reward. He really loved art, and now that he's 5, he spends most of his day creating it. Now, however you go about these games, if there's something they enjoy specifically, they'll ask you to do it again. And by all means, do it again. Whatever makes your kiddo happy is the way to go. We ended up doing art games every single day after we got into a groove and figured out how he learned best. That being said, we did still switch it up. We switched up the materials we would use to make art. I hope you enjoyed these tips and tricks to making reading fun. See you in the next one.